some of which I can do about and some I can't.
I was thinking about prayer and how you pray for others and for healing. And I was wondering, I was reading some of the Urantia comments about prayer, about when you pray for somebody, they need to know that you're praying for them. That if the conditions of effective prayer,
they like to have your permission too.
Yeah, if it's going to be effective, they have to know that you're praying for them. And in a sense, they need to be a participant to the process in some sense. Yeah. So, and I thought that was interesting, that idea that you can't just you can blindly pray for somebody that doesn't know you're praying for them, but in some sense, from a spiritual, for it to be effective, they should know that you're doing it. Yeah.
So you're saying that the connection of the prayer and the prayed for needs somehow or another to be made.
Yeah, there's some sort of connection or thing there. And I think Michael was saying about the permission of some sort, that they're, by telling somebody that you're praying for them, then it gives them kind of that element to give permission or not give permission. You know what I mean? Like somebody could say, well, no, don't pray for me. I don't need you to pray for me. So
I've never heard anybody say that.
No, I've heard somebody say it from, they think when you say you're praying for them, that it's insincere.
Well, I do think that there's a lot of insincerity out in the kind of conventional way of saying, well, my thoughts and prayers are with you and all.
Yes.
It has become kind of a cliche.
Catchphrase,
But if I say that, I will stop right then and there and try to do it so that I've been honest to myself.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, but if somebody is at a crisis or at, say, what would you call it, Sonny, a recovery activation point, and you are praying for them and sending them a lot of energy, then it exasperates it and actually makes it more profound, makes their struggle starker, makes it more intense. You know what I mean? It adds to the whole bundle of what's occurring for them.
Gotcha. I mean, the energy itself could cause some sort of a struggle or strife within what they're already doing if they're not aware or not considering it for what it is or something.
Yeah, the people that asked me not to pray for them were those who were pretty psychic anyway. They're pretty psychic and they can feel it coming at them, and they can so like for my brother, it just became something else he had to deal with. So he said, please don't pray with me. It makes my life more difficult. Because he was trying to handle
That's
stuff.
just a very new thought to me, because almost everyone that I have ever, that particular thing is up. It just seems to me like people ask for prayers, or, that you offer them. I just have never seen anyone reject. That's interesting.
Sonny, have you ever seen anything about that?
I haven't seen anything about it. No, but it would make sense to me that free will is a big deal.
Sure.
If they're not going to accept the energy, it could spin around. I don't know what.
Yeah.
I would still think that the intent of the individual who is doing the praying can't possibly be lost.
No, it's not. And the other thing in the Urantia book it said was often praying affects the prayer more than the one prayed for.
I can buy that.
And so in some sense, just the fact if you truly are sincerely praying for somebody, it is a benefit to you, and it's a potential benefit to the person you're praying for, but they also have to be receptive to that, so it's you have to look at both sides of that. So
what I would make is that I don't say a prayer without making the one more step prior to that, and that is intentionally connecting myself, saying
to your inner source,
whatever divine, whatever it is, connections, the waves, the whatever's it is, I intentionally try to make that connection by reaching out to that energy, hoping that it would go wherever it's supposed to go, the way it's supposed to go.
Sure. Well, that's good.
And-
Good thought. Yeah.
I did think there's just nothing that can replace sincere intent.
Mhm.
You need to have intent for it to be as effective as it possibly could be. That's my opinion.
Well, in the words of Carlos Castaneda, intent is everything. So it's like that was like I think a phrase from Don Juan or something. If you ever read any of those books, was that intention was the power of God, and by tapping into your intention and putting your intention out there, you're actually connecting with God. That intention is where you connect with God. You know, and that's not the way he said it, but that's the way I remember it from what I read in the books. And I only read like 2 books of that because it was a little bit rough around the edges series, but I just liked a few of those
We're all
concepts.
Bob.
Journey to Itzlan.
It might have been one of them. That might have been one of them. Yeah. So when he's out in the desert or something like that, I can't remember. Yeah, vaguely. It's been a long time. 35 years or so, probably. So, but yeah, no, intention. I think I've always felt there's something very powerful about tapping into that. So,
I just think it's a very important step in it to make that connection, that conscious intent, and it keeps me a little more honest too.
sure. So with that, I was thinking, because if we're going to have a prayer circle and stuff, is maybe making a conscious thing as we connect with each other and do that, to also try to let those that we're praying for, and you don't have to necessarily say it in the rigid formal way, but let them know that you're putting out thoughts for them, sharing with them or whatever. Like maybe let the people we know that we're praying for know that we're praying for them. So I just thought that would be a good step. So
Henry handles the prayer line at the churches she works for. And she always tries to make sure that the people that are being prayed for know that there's somebody praying for them.
Gotcha.
It's not a prerequisite, but it's something that most everybody agrees should be done.
Sure. Yeah.
But on the other hand, remember the Gathering of the Heart in Fayetteville? The whole group just prayed for that girl. And all the wonderful stuff that happened, even getting into her dreams, the prayers.
Sure.
Just because she needed it.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. Yes, it's been a while, but yes.
I remember that now that you bring it up.
Yeah. Yes, Fayetteville.
Another wonderful gathering.
All the wonderful stuff that happened.
Like what?
Aline found this guy that came to the retreat where we were having a conference, and he was pacing around and looked worried. So she asked him about what was going on, and his best friend got killed by some guy, and this guy also raped his best friend's daughter, and I was a heart surgeon. This is the gathering of the heart. And, that was decided what it was going to be. Anyway, so he had to operate on the guy that killed his best friend.
Wow.
That would be
because he got shot. I think it was, he got injured, so he needed heart surgery the next day, and he wanted to just go rogue, and pay the guy back for what he did to his friend and his friend's daughter. And so he was
the Hippocratic Oath.
neck deep in consternation, and so he came before the conference. Aline invited him up, and he told the whole story. And so everybody prayed one for him. And then he came, so they do the right thing. And he came back because he had done the right thing and the guy had survived the operation. He felt better about that. So he came and addressed the group and he said, well, while I'm at it, I have a girl that needs a heart right now, little 9-year-old girl. So I don't know, and there's no heart for her, and so the whole conference prayed for him and prayed for the little girl, and it turns out that the next day the little girl had a dream that Santa Claus had brought her a new heart.
Oh,
And this guy was hanging out at the pool with everybody, and he had he had white hair and a white beard, and he got sunburned, so he was red with the white beard and white hair, just like Santa Claus.
Mhm.
And
I don't remember that.
that day, a heart came in, and it was a match, and so he operated on the girl and took one of the nurses from the conference and had her place the heart into the girl's chest. And it turns out that he used to hang out with her brother when he was a kid. They used to tease her. You know how brothers tease sisters. And they, after the operation, they made the connection, and they fell in love over this deal.
Oh,
Matters of the heart again. And so they decided on this weekend that they were going to get married.
My gosh. I
And
don't remember all those details at all.
And
I
so,
do remember praying.
I don't remember his name right now. He's the guy that did the mission. He spread the book around the world, took it and put it in all these libraries.
Norman Ingram, I mean.
Norm, yeah.
Norman
Okay.
Ingram, yes, Norman, yes.
He had a place on Molokai in Hawaii, and he offered that place to them for their honeymoon. And so they took him up on it, and it was this. You see what a wonderful story.
yes.
And
Thank you, Michael.
the girl got prayed for.
Your recall is remarkable.
Yeah.
Without knowing anybody was praying for her, and she got a new heart. It gave her life.
Yay.
Yeah, it was pretty inspiring. The gods were showing off. This is what we can do.
Mhm.
And how much of that goes on that we never see or know about,
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Sometimes
who
I
uses
wonder,
fancy stuff like that.
yeah, like when we get to the mansion worlds and they'll have this big map, and we'll get to see all the times that like those kinds of coincidences happened to us when we were
Oh.
completely oblivious.
Mhm. The
I had a friend-
crisscrossing.
Yeah, I had a friend one time drive from the East Coast to see me in Montana. And she said, I don't believe in miracles. Miracles never happened to me. And I says, how do you know? You got here and you're alive, aren't you?
Yeah. Yes.
Because wow.
Yeah,
Yes.
if there's no miracles happening, there's something wrong.
Mhm.
Oh, we
Yes.
found a reading that was kind of about that. I thought we were going to do a reading today, but it turned out to be Sunday, but we did find one for today if you want to hear it.
Sure.
It's from the beloved letters of the Scattered Brotherhood. I have to read the first part because when I was practicing, I choked up and was crying too much at the end. So Alan has to read that part. Okay. Since the
What-
beginning,
What page?
well, yours might be different, but it's 108.
Oh, okay.
Since the beginning, it has always been a question of minus or plus, spiritual or material, light or darkness. Everyone who has made a stand and called upon the unseen to reveal itself goes through the backing and filling on the borderline between the two. For every act of faith, there is a challenging fear. The outer you is naturally dismayed by the turmoil. And we are here to bear witness that, like the steady captain on the bridge in the storm, you must face it and be confident in the unseen. Your growing intelligence makes you realize that you cannot afford to let go and be swept into chaos. You can hold the universe together. There is an ebb and flow of hope and disappointment, courage followed by fear and weariness. But be of good cheer, for your very realization and intent at this moment is a reward.
I have often told you that the running of the race is more important than the race. Many have had to run it over hot sands and have brought the Spirit of Christ down to make a stream of living water in a wilderness. Take the whole dare and yield to faith. That is all that lifts a man out of the herd. Say, quote, Christ is my refuge, my comforter, the supplier of my needs. He changes water into wine. He gives me my daily bread and lifts my spirit with his own, unquote. Believe that you can translate your godhood, your love of God through Christ into a daily miracle. It is hard to smile with happy faith. I know, when the heart is being clutched at and terror is a dark sky for scenery, but at least you have this evidence that you turned to your Father in time, and the very turning to him for strength gives strength. That is an act of God.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah.
Yeah.
A daily miracle.
I just
you
got
got-
I just got a text from Judy that says, I'm a tiny bit better today. I still have a fever and I'm coughing too, but I think it's coming to an end soon. Yay.
Good.
But let's try that, holding our hands up to Judy right now, why don't we? Hey, Judy.
Hey, Jude.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. Take a sad day and make a miracle.
And Mary Huggins.
And
And
Mary.
Mary Huggins. And
And
Dolores
Kim-
Nice.
Mhm.
And Kim Ashley.
And Lily Fraser. Virginia Kelly.
Bonnie. Taylor.
Christina Knox.
Sherilyn, John.
And all those children who are going back to school, not having the fortune of being able to be vaccinated. Please, God, whatever you can do to
Protect.
shield them from the potential outcomes.
and all of the Afghanis suffering today in any form.
Brokenhearted, betrayed.
Even those who have done the betrayal.
Strength and courage and peace to all.
For the leadership in our own country and around the world who have the greatest power to bring good. May we uplift them. And may
The love of
goodness.
Michael. The power and the love of Michael.
To all of our unseen friends and Michael, Mother Spirit, and all those in association for the betterment of all that is. We don't even recognize all that is possible in our universe. So where we have limited range of understanding, please apply based on our intentions rather than our words. Any available energy, healing, love, perspective that can bring light to these various people and situations here on our world at this time.
Thank you for hearing us. We know that you always hear us.
A song comes to mind that I love, and although I'm not a great singer, I know you guys know the words to this song. I put a slightly different spin on it because of my experiences with the teaching mission, but it's when I find myself in times of trouble, Brother Aaron comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, oh, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be.
Thank you,
Thank you very much. I think that It was very, very powerful. I have a suggestion that can go a little tiny bit further in terms of energizing. I have a massage therapist that is pretty incredible. And she does Reiki. She does all kinds of massage. Whatever I need, she just picks out whatever method I need at that moment in time. I'll describe what I need, and she helps me. But I learned quite serendipitously, not having a clue of what Reiki is. I didn't know anything about it, but I noticed that I had energy sometimes in my hands that, I could feel. And I remember I was in a circle one time with someplace, and we were given the exercise of standing in a circle where you placed your left hand over the person next to you, everybody. And that was the first time that I ever intentionally experienced energy. We were asked to participate with our minds to this experiment. And I remember just receiving incredibly powerful energy from the person to the left of me and feeling it leaving my right hand to the next person on my right. It was just like, I felt this energy going through me. So anyway, time goes by, and that was an interesting thing and everywhere. But I had more and more experiences where actually someone would have a headache and I'd lay my hands and I'd feel this energy. And now I can pull it up just almost any time. And while we were doing that, I just had incredible surges of, it's tingling.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether any of you have ever experienced it, but
Yep.
my massage therapist has told me that you can actually send the laying on of hands or the Reiki to anybody, anywhere, anytime on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
That you can actually do it intentionally, which goes a little bit beyond even prayer, I think, in a way, because you're sending really energy. And I asked her, I said, well, can they even send it to Japan where our is? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And I've asked her to send her Reiki because I know she has incredibly powerful, in her. But anyway, it's just something that maybe some of you can play with, because it is quite an experience. It is. And
My mother had an ankle injury one time, and I used Reiki, and I could actually visibly take the swelling down with Reiki. You can see what happened.
mhm.
That was really encouraging as far as knowing how effective it is.
I've never studied it. I've never read anything about it. I've just experienced it and finally found the name of it.
Well, that's kind of like why I say put your hands up, because I imagine that with us, so that we are making this stream of energy. And like in my dream of the Thistle Sisters Ranch, when we go there, I want to make a place like in our minds, like when we go there all together and we are bringing this Reiki energy together there, and we can pool it, and we can make a reservoir of the connection. Of course, it's connected to the Father, so it's bottomless, and it goes through us. But I'm thinking, why can't we, like, I'm mentally doing that with my mind when we have our hands up, I'm in circuiting. That's what a circuit is, right?
Mhm.
Circuiting the energy, like I was seeing it going over Judy, being with Judy, being with Mary, and actually sending it upon them. Because I have studied that Reiki stuff, and they have, like, you have to do all these, like, they used to have it where you had to pay for it and stuff, and then they came out with it free, and this guy says, wait, I've been getting these messages. And so then he wrote books about how to do it. that were giving away all the secrets, you know, and it was like this huge break in the system. But
That's monetizing something that we have received free anyway.
yeah, yeah.
You
And
know,
so, and so
why?
I don't even bother with all the chanting and the signs, and they're supposed to draw all these symbols. I don't even, I thought, what the heck with that, you know, just send the energy.
But you can feel the energy. You can feel the tingling. You can feel it. And my massage therapist says you can even, you know, if you hold your hands like this, you can literally envision that your hands upon the individual, you know, not touching, but just
And if you like spring a little bit back
concentrating
and
the
forth,
power.
yeah,
Concentrating the engine. to
Yeah.
The energy.
yeah, it's warm. Like I can feel it really warm between my hands right now.
Mine is tingly. It's warm, yes, but it's absolutely like electrical impulses. I can feel that.
Cool.
When you can flick your fingers to get all the
Feel it?
excess energy out, and you can almost hear it crack.
I'm not
You
hearing.
get that packet I put by your pillow that night, Sonny?
I couldn't sleep.
Oh.
It kept me awake for hours. I couldn't believe it's like, really? I'm not
I want to
kidding.
do that.
It was unbelievable. Like,
Like buzzing all over.
it was a buzz, is what it was. A
Mhm.
packet.
Well, did the next day, did you feel full of energy?
No, I wouldn't say that I did, but I certainly
Oh.
felt the energy, girl.
Yeah.
I did. It was funny. Do it during the day.
Yes. Yeah, take your time. Take your times wisely.
I mean, just wow. Seriously, it was like, really? And there was no way I could control it. It was like, okay, here we go. It was something.
Sorry.
I have to get a
It
shield.
was funny. It was funny. I was laughing. Okay, well, here we go.
So the next lesson is how to turn that off at when you need to.
Yeah.
You don't need any more energy.
when you
Don't
need to
break
shut
me.
it down for a while. Yes.
Don't
Send it back to her, Sonia. Send it back to her.
Yeah, there you go. Your turn. Your turn tonight. Yes. I was thinking about that. Talking about like the people that monetize things or monetize things. And that is a problem in religion because it then makes you think that there has to be a money component to getting healed or to getting spirituality or something,
Exactly.
you know. And I know some people need it as a live. If they're going to do this for a living, they need to have a way to make money. But it does give me that kind of muddy sort of feeling about spirituality. And I was thinking about sometimes even subconsciously, one who's a healer starts coming up with more and more complex ways that people have to do things to find God or to get connected, because if it's more complex, then they
More
have to find somebody to do it for them to help them do it. And so it's almost like, how do we make it so simple for people that they don't have to feel like they have to get somebody that's going to charge them $50, $100 an hour to connect with God or to get a reading or to be connected, you know, not to take that in a place of like, you know, like physicians or whatever, because obviously there's true healing, but I mean, from an energy standpoint, this is available to almost everybody. And
but you have to open your mind up to the potential
yeah,
for
yeah.
it and dwell upon it with sincerity.
Mhm.
I guess I know how to turn it off too.
Yes. Yeah, maybe.
I hear you, Sonia.
I'll give it to you for free, but knowing how to turn it off will cost you $100.
That was it. That was the
Yes,
cat.
there you go.
Baby, set me up.
Be a good story, Bobby. You should write that
Yes, yeah, we put that one together.
one. Have
I've
one
got
of your-
Tom, but he won't shut up.
I also
can't
do
sleep.
think that a lot of people who start out with sincerity, once they start achieving some of these things that are inexplicable to people who are unreceptive to it,
Mhm.
I think they sort of some of them can, you know, develop into the cult-like leadership
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
they somehow or another feel that they're more powerful than someone else or have greater gifts or whatever, and it can build on into an incredible ego type of thing that can then start destroying or hurting other people.
Sure.
We've seen
I
that a
think
lot,
it's-
haven't we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So one has to learn to kind of or think about checking one's own ego. You know, I'm not ready to give my ego up yet. I think I still serves me well because I'm not all alone, but I don't need an ego. You know, a lot of the Eastern religions say you got to give up ego. Well, I don't know. I'm never going to get rid of mine because it's.
I always needed a better one.
I
To give it
had a better one, but
Yeah, I need a bigger one.
I just
that's
need,
about
one that falls in line when I need him to. Yeah.
but I do think it's something that one has to really be very contemplative about
Mhm.
when it gets into when you do start having some of these experiences that you can't put them into words or whatever. You just know it's just unknown. You know it. You got to be careful about how you.
That reminds me of something. Can I read it for you? Because
Sure.
it's about that. It's page 28, Sonny.
Okay.
Let's see. As we have said so often, your whole task is to take steps that lead to that secret place. And when the last step is taken and you sit in silence with the word, you become one with the spirit and the power back of all manifested life, infinitely gentle when you give yourself to it. That is where all things are done for you, where the crooked ways are made straight, where doors are opened, and influences pass through to others without your knowing it. When you do this, you carry a hidden virtue that you cannot measure nor even sense. Be careful about wasting time in what you call helping, for that can be dangerous. No, you lose what you have when you think you have a power. You lose it when you think you are an influence. If it is your good fortune to be an instrument so great and dynamic, you must perforce renounce all personal gratification in what materialists call your inspiration to others. All must be stern and strong and clean and free from the false valuations of sentimentality. Take the steps to your inner self with that naked intent to worship him in his holiness, and all will be set in motion with beauty and order. That is all you can do and what you are needed to do. In this way, the doors open to let in light, and you too are released when you are still and open your heart so that the Father can do the work.
Nice.
Isn't that good?
Yes. Yes.
What it felt like to me when we were praying,
Uh-huh.
that you characterized it before as a pool.
Mhm.
It was like getting into the pool or getting into that place where you are when you meditate, where you're in the stillness with the Father. Did you all feel that when we were praying, that we were just dropped into another place? And
Sort
think-
of. Yeah. I didn't think of it like that, but I felt like I entered into something, like entered into a space.
transportation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it was primarily the processing of energy.
Mhm.
For me, it was primarily just a sense of loving energy.
Mhm.
But it's physical. There's a physical aspect of it
Yeah.
for me.
And when I do that with my hands, like before I go to sleep at night, well, we read one of these Scattered Brotherhood things, and then I think about all of us, and I hold my hands up and I think about all of us, and I pray for all of us and Lightline and all of us, and I hold us up like with my elbows on my bed, and I make that orb of light, you know, and I just bring us all in and just send it all to all of us. And it feels like right now it's all like warm and gold and real intense between my hands, you know, and on Sunny's hair. Ooh.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel is, and like Eugenia says, it's at will. You know, you can enter into that or call that up or open to it at will, right? So then,
It's like putting a switch on it. or
and
something.
send it to others, but you know, we don't want them to not sleep. So what have we done to Judy? Call her up. see
Poor
if she's
Judy, it's her bedtime and she can't sleep. Well, I'm gonna send her a little text reply and say, sorry if you can't sleep.
Send her a
Sorry if you
lullaby,
can't
send her a
sleep tonight.
lullaby
Ju-
right
I think I gotta say that. Sorry if you can't sleep tonight, Judy. We sent the energy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Leave it at that. Sorry.
Lullaby.
Yeah, we'll send her a lullaby. Good, yeah.
Little baby.
Yes.
So that's how we have to just let that be flavored or colored or tempered, you know, by the spirit, because we don't know. We don't know what people need.
Nope.
You know,
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep for 3 hours. 3 hours.
So are you really attributing this to my Reiki
Yes, I
you
am.
sent you?
Absolutely.
You're not kidding.
No, I'm not. Because it was a different thing. My head was not spinning. You know, it wasn't monkey mind. You know.
Maybe a lot of stuff was getting straightened around out there.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was 3 hours. It's very unusual because normally I can really make good transitions, but this was, and I was dead dog tired, which is why I was saying, oh my God, you know, I'm wrung out rag. And wow, I didn't feel tired at all.
Yeah.
I didn't feel a wink of tiredness. Nope, just totally. I felt like I was being you know, in the recharger,
Okay,
the charging unit.
yeah, okay. That's good
You know,
though.
like
Yes.
it was interesting.
You had the lightning plugged in.
Yeah, I didn't fight it. There was like no point. It's like, okay, interesting.
Yes.
Where you found out that struggle was not worth, you couldn't.
No, that's the lesson I'm definitely dealing with now. Is like, you know, I really need to take control of my decision tree. You know, how am I going to respond to whatever it is that's happening in the world? And then normally, historically, you know, I'm just really critical, cynical. Well, that's typical kind of person, you know. And now it's like, okay, well, it is what it is, and I just shift.
You're growing.
Yeah, it's I attribute that to this group, the whole process, you know.
Hey,
And what's interesting, you know, today I attended the UUI cafe for the first time, and it was about how the thought adjuster in dreams. And so I've had, you know, in the last week, I've had these 2 whacked out dreams. It's like, what the weird, you know? And so I was just kind of curious to get into that discussion group. And I was talking about the stuff that Deep, you and I have talked about with the mental processing and the papers that I've written. And there was another gal that was a retired therapist who just went all crazy about it. And so we did a Zoom, and I spent an hour and a half going through my PowerPoint and my presentation to all my clients with her, which she now is going to take and do a UUI
yay.
thing. So it's like, yes, that's what it's about, right? Just what we're talking about. Pay it forward. Boom. Just let it grow, let it grab momentum. And because, you know, the thing that I think I feel blessed by is the spirit of truth is allowing me to hear, there is a piece there. And it's like that piece of the puzzle. You take a piece, you don't have to take the whole thing. It's like that part right there is something. And then what happens when I kind of connect it into all these other theories? You know, Eastern philosophy and Western science is basically what it is. Eastern healing philosophies and medicine techniques, like talk about Reiki, acupuncture, acupressure, chakras, things of that nature, that are just, you know, the Western mind goes, what are you talking about? Can I get some fries with that? You know, no, you can't.
The herd.
The herd, yeah. Yeah. So it's fun to, you know, and I don't know who's helping me because, you know, I will say every now and then I've had a moment when a spark, but I'm not gonna take any kind of personal credit for it. It's like somebody's over there going, okay, ding, ding, here you go.
Sonia, you've not only asked for it, you've been screaming for it.
Yeah, oh yeah, I am. Lord, here, great.
No wonder they kept you up all night. They said, well, if you're giving us this much hell about getting it, you know, we're
Oh,
gonna keep you
man.
up all night giving it to you. So,
Well, that's okay. I got
No.
30 years. Let's go. I don't have to deal with anybody else except me and making the
Be
mortgage
careful.
and doing all that.
Be careful what you ask for because you might.
Well, I do say, you know, but I do want to stay in this house, by the way, you know, it's like,
yes, yeah. So
I don't
it's
need
good
to-
to throw those caveats out
I
there.
put
Yes.
caveats in there. It's like, and this
It's
house
good
is a gift from God. I don't want to give it up. Thank you. It was
Yes.
lovely.
Yes.
I like staying here. It's the zone. Okay, let me just do my private practice, you know, from
Mhm.
here, going
Yes.
forward. And I just want to have enough energy to do it, you know?
See, I forgot to do that, and now they've given me a house on the hill in Newport by the ocean to move into, because I was complaining so much about certain aspects of this environment. and Now they've
Light.
given me a whole new one, you know?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
wonderful.
no,
It's
it's
like,
not-
Careful,
no
careful what you
sunset
ask
here.
for.
I didn't ask. I
Yes.
didn't even ask.
you-
I just got like moved up. I leveled. I leveled up. So it's
Leveled up,
really
did you?
exciting.
Well, I want more time. See, that's what I really want. I want more
That's
time.
what eternity is about.
Well, right now, I want more time in prayer, in meditation and contemplation.
The
And in
downside about our
studying.
downside about our spiritual beings is they don't really have a good concept of time.
True, true.
I don't know. Abraham from Esther Hicks has a trick on that. I used it too, and it works. You can expand time for yourself. So I'll go get that and I'll tell you what it is, Sonny, because I used it and
Cool.
it works. It's about a mental intention and setting something in the future somehow. I kind of forget now, but I had this art show I had to do, but I had to go to Montana and I did my class reunion. And so all this time was taken away from me. I had 3 weeks to do about 6 weeks worth of work.
Right.
And I was really freaked out because I didn't know how I was going to get it done.
Hmm.
But that 2 weeks that I had expanded and I got everything done in just like grace and quiet, no rush, no anxiety, because I use that technique. So I'll look
Let's do
that up.
this. Let's do this workshop next Wednesday.
All right. How does
That's good.
Well, actually, next Wednesday's here. The next discussion
Yeah.
group Wednesday. Yes, because I
You
want
know-
that workshop also on how to stretch my time.
Well, I want to add here, is that in the last week, it hasn't been in the last couple of days, but last week there was a day or two where when I did the stillness practice, I mean, there were like chunks of time I closed my eyes and it was like 20, 30 minutes later, I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Where did the time go? You know, it's weird. Really, and I didn't have any thinking really. It was just gone.
Yeah, good
You
for
connected.
you.
You connected for a while, and you just lost track of what the time
Really,
part of
it's
it.
true. It was very strange, very interesting. And then I kind of got worried. It's like, oh shit, I don't, I don't want to be here 3 hours. I mean, this is great, but you know.
Next thing you know, you missed 4 appointments.
Exactly.
No, yeah,
They have a good
I
way. They have a
remember
good way.
that.
There's a thing in the Urantia book about the threefold fluctuation of light on Havona when they need you to get up and get about doing things. Just tell them when it's time. Hit me with the threefold fluctuation. You know?
There you go. I like that. Yeah. So, you know, and so Eugenia, you're right. If the whole thing, it points again to this theme, this idea for me around intention, setting intentions, all the day, through the day, as often as possible. It just keeps you, in my mind, it keeps me locked in, you know, it keeps me locked in.
Yeah.
Every time you change from one activity to another, like you finish something and you have to get in your car and go. So there's a moment where you set your intentions for grace and beauty for the next job.
Right.
You finish your shopping, you get in your car, you have an intention, I'm driving home, this is another intention. You get home, there's intention on cook, every time you can have that second to stop when you're changing activities. This is when I found it was really good to keep track of, to connect right then, at the point of changing activities from one sitting to standing to moving, when you had something to alternate.
Gotcha.
And it sounds, and I agree with that, because there's so much of our lives that we just do by rote, unconsciously. It's like, how many times have you driven home and you don't remember how you got there? And just, going through a process, going through a routine, rather brain dead. So what it does is it really creates a more acute awareness of the now, this moment. And in my mind, in my experience, I agree with you, because it tends to keep out the noise, the racket, the chaotic thoughts, that are just random, that happen throughout the day. It keeps me, focused. Yeah.
Boy, that is a tough one for some of us.
Yeah.
It is.
Or, in my case, I can be very, very all over the map. But when I really do get focused, then everything else just. And I'm so focused that I don't hear things I should hear.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I really could get over focused, but it's and it can be kind of, it's difficult because it can over focus to the point that you're not doing something else that you really are supposed to be doing too.
Well, it's always that thing, that idea of balance,
That's very difficult. I'm a Libra.
See, there you go.
You never, and every time you get it about like that, something like that.
Oh.
Have that vision of that balance scale of the Libra. Oh well.
I'm a
Liberty and
Taurus.
justice.
I'm a Taurus. I wander around all slow and content, chewing my cud. And unless somebody bothers me too much, then I'm going to charge and look out.
That's right.
The corns come out.
Yeah.
Oh my, is that true? Is that true, Alan?
It can be, yes, it can, yes.
Careful,
Oh,
tread lightly here, Alan.
Uh-huh.
It's okay.
Just happens to be my week to be right.
Yes. Well, I'm gonna have to ditch out, and I got a family thing I have to do at 8. So good to see you guys. Feel free to talk a little longer if you want to, but I'm gonna have to ditch off myself. So.
But do we have anything that we really would be